Welcome to week 4 of the Sunday spread presented by BetMGM on the BetQL network. We're back, and it's been a week of upsets. It's been a week of upsets every week starting this season. Sean Bell with you, Devin Caney to my left, Barrett Brooks to my right. And guys, before we even start, I got to give out apologies because every week we say where we're dead wrong and where we're dead right. I'm going to start off with my dead wrongs because I have some big apologies to give. One is to you, Devin Caney.
Oh,
you've had issues. I know. I never thought I'd be doing this, but I'm apologizing to Devin straight off the bat. You've had some issues in regards to survivor pools, right?
Yeah.
First 2 weeks wasn't working out. Last week during the show, and I'm hoping you didn't go with my advice. You gave me your survivor pick. I don't even remember what it was, but I said, Dev, that's a terrible pick. Here's what I think you should do. I think you should go Buccaneers over Broncos. That's the obvious. It's Bo freaking Nix.
Sure did.
The Buccaneers are balling. Baker Mayfield balling. I'm sorry. I am sorry I gave you that advice. I assume you didn't listen to my advice.
Oh, I did. I did, actually. I did. But you know what? It's okay. So that was actually going to be my worst pick, if you will, of week 3 because as you know, survivor pool, something that I'm typically very good at. So week 1, took the Bengals, like many people. Did not work out for me. My pool, you can buy back in for the first 3 weeks. Week 2, took the Ravens. They were the biggest favorites of the week. Thought I'd be safe. Not the case. $60 down at this point. Buy back in one last time. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do what everyone else has been doing. I'm just going to pick whatever team is playing against the Carolina Panthers. What do? They go ahead and start Andy Dalton instead of Bryce Young. And Sean, I honestly don't even blame you because you were not the only person. I had so many people say, no, don't take the Raiders. You have to take the Bucs over the Broncos. And I did. But guess what? Either way, I would have been out. So it doesn't matter. I don't blame you because the Raiders lost to the Panthers too.
I'm glad you said that because that leads to my second apology. I'm sorry, Andy Dalton. Because that's what I also did last week. I said, Andy Dalton? Trash. No. I told you told me that, so I got to apologize to you. I'm giving apologies all over the place. Andy Dalton, the Red Rocket, trash. 319 for 3 touchdowns, and the Panthers scored 36 points. Now, I refuse to apologize to the Panthers organization. I still think y'all are absolute trash. Okay, I used to work down there, so I know the new regime, trash. But yeah, I have to give apologies all around. So yeah, I'm sorry. Those are the places I was dead freaking wrong. I'm sorry to everybody. Where I was dead right, I
think a lot of people were dead wrong though. So like, it's okay. It's been a weird year so far.
It has been, and
a very weird year.
And that's what it is. It used to be. This is all, greatest show on turf. Get the ball in the air. You're just throwing everything. Throwing it's a quarterback's league. It's changed here this year that the running game has become the most reliable way to score.
So Barry, where were you dead wrong? Because if you don't say yours, I got one for you.
Oh, I got a bunch of them. I mean, my tight ends.
There you go. I was waiting for it, Devin.
This is the worst tight end. Statistical regime I've seen. Even Kelsey. Kelsey has yet to score a touchdown. Come on now. Evan Ingram, nothing.
Nowhere to be found.
Sam Laporta, trash. Come on. What are we doing? At this point, I need my tight ends to be tight. They're not tight.
Whoa.
My fault. Wow. Pause. But hey, I'm just saying.
Wow.
And
Hey-o.
I don't know what else to say.
But you're right. The tight ends have completely disappeared.
Man.
I actually thought of you because of your, tight end parlay that I had straight up when you said it last week was like bold of you. I respect it. I will not be tailing that.
Yes. You regretfully.
Yeah, there's only been a few tight ends who've really gone off. Travis Kelce, like you mentioned, nowhere to be seen. Your guy, speaking of Jags and their offense, we'll get into their struggles. But Travis Etienne also kind of screwed me over in a parlay that every leg hit except for Travis Etienne.
What about Josh Jacobs?
Yeah, it's hard to predict what's going to happen, and I know it's still early, but not early enough for just the unpredictability that we've seen so far throughout this season.
And even the tight ends, it's been 1 week. Like Dallas Goedert, unbelievable last week.
Yeah.
But just 1 week. George
Yeah.
Kittle, the first week, unbelievable, then nothing. Like, it's been, all right, if there is a good tight end point, there's nobody. Like, last year,
consistent.
It was TJ Hawkinson. It was like, it's Laporta. Every week, you can bet on this tight end, and they haven't performed. So we said where we were wrong. Before we move on, were we right anywhere? Because I'm going to tell y'all right now, I wasn't right in many places.
Well, I was wrong either way it goes. I was wrong with that, and then I went with my my parlay, anytime touchdown with Nico Collins. Wrong. George Pickens. Wrong. Jamar Chase came through. 2 touchdowns. 2
He
touchdowns.
did.
But it just crushed me after that. I mean, I was already gone by then. I mean, I was always, already giving up after that,
The only thing is Saquon. I was like, Saquon's going to bounce back. He's going to score.
Yeah.
And he had a massive game. So that was the biggest right for me because again, Saquon's my new Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bet on him every week.
A Saquon anytime touchdown. I missed on my anytime touchdown parlay I gave you guys on the show. I didn't have Saquon. I had Jalen Hurts scoring in that game. That did not play out. I did have another anytime touchdown parlay that hit in Monday Night Football, and that was Zach Moss, Jamar Chase. I knew he needed to get his first touchdown of the season.
You said that too. You said he's going to have a big game.
Yeah.
You predicted that. Yes, you got that.
And he did. And Brian Robinson from the Commanders. Yeah. And that one hit. And I also, it's kind of funny because do you ever place things and you're like, I don't remember doing that. I think maybe I did it because it was like a counteract to my Bucks pick in Survivor. I had a Bo Nix anytime touchdown score and Bo Nix 25 or more rushing yards.
That is a random
It was so random. I'm a sicko. I don't even know why I did it.
I got one like that also. A Chris Godwin touchdown.
Oh.
From out of nowhere. But RKO, from out of nowhere, I placed it and bam. Came through for me in the clutch.
There you go.
The one person I undersold, I said, make sure you bet Juwan Jennings. His over-under was 42.5. So I did his alt 50 in an anytime touchdown. He had 11 catches, 175 yards, 3 touchdowns.
You definitely undersold.
Right? I'm like, damn, like I could have really made some money if I would have put, because I knew Brandon Ayuk, that was our alternative last week. Brandon Ayuk going off. I said, no. He's still in La La Land, training camp, dropping passes all over the place. He's not going to get it done. So, Juwan Jennings. So, let's talk about the upsets. What are we doing? This is like I don't know who's great and who's. First of all, no one looks great. Even the Kansas City Chiefs, who are 3-0, I'm like, you have some struggles of games to be able to get wins. And who's bad, right? Jaguars are bad, but besides that, the Giants up and get a random win that you don't think they're going to get. The Panthers up and get a big-time win you don't think they're going to get. Underdogs came through once again. The Broncos won. The Giants won. The Panthers won. The Rams had a
Steelers
upset.
Win.
The Commanders won.
Steelers are 3-0.
Yes,
I didn't think the Steelers was an upset, but they win. Who y'all the most surprised about? Or are you just surprised about everything in general? Dev, start with you.
I was really surprised by the Panthers because I wasn't buying into the hype, even though I was convinced to change my Survivor pick. Just in case, I was not all in on the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton coming back and like saving this team just because I didn't think that he had enough pieces around him to really change that much. And I also think maybe I feel kind of sorry for Bryce Young. I was actually excited to see him play in the NFL and go off, and he still can, like there's still time, but I didn't know that the problem was like solely on him. And then Andy Dalton came in and the Panthers played a really good game. And he had over 300 yards through the air. Like he did really well and they beat the Raiders. So I was surprised by that. I thought maybe they'd keep it closer than the Panthers games had been thus far this season. I did not expect them to be that dominant.
How bad do you feel when Bryce Young after the locker room and everyone's celebrating and popping champagne?
I feel bad for him.
And he's in the corner like dang, like I feel bad. Like Barrett, I know that's how the NFL is. It is what it is, but bro, I had to feel bad for the young man.
You got to, man, because this guy, they put the franchise on his back, and it was just too heavy for him. He couldn't hold it up. Mm-hmm. But I told you last week, the Red Rifle, man. We're talking about a guy, Andy Dalton, who's went to a bunch of different teams and done the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Play to a level which, all right, y'all want me to come in and play, but y'all understand I'm going to be better than the rookie you guys got in here. Mm-hmm. And he showed that time upon time and did the same thing. Mm-hmm. So, he carried the Cincinnati Bengals for a long time. Leaves there, has been a journeyman and balled everywhere he's went. So, I mean, I do that.
Who are you surprised about?
My huge surprise, even though I won a Super Bowl with them, the Pittsburgh Steelers. How are you 3-0, but your offense has not had over 500 yards passing yet?
Yeah.
How is that? How are you winning like that?
Do you think Justin Fields is their quarterback?
He's become their quarterback. In fact,
Yeah.
I'm surprised he's
no,
not
so like
talking.
Russell Wilson's just not. That's
Right.
not going to
He's
happen.
done.
I think Russell Wilson right now is negotiating. He has to be negotiating with the Miami Dolphins right now.
Yeah.
He has to be, because right now the Steelers are only paying like $100 million. Like $1 million on his contract. I think he's making the veteran minimum on his contract for the Steelers, and that's the only contract that's favorable. Because you look at what's going on in Miami; they're way over the cap right now. So he's the only place he could land, and they're trying to get some worth out of it. They're gonna have to trade draft picks, and the Steelers need more draft picks. It's gotta happen. You know what I'm saying? It's almost. It has to be almost done.
And here's the curious thing I saw Cam Newton saying this. He said, Russell Wilson ain't hurt. He said, why are you in pads? Like, no quarterback or no backup of any importance is in pads in the week they're not hurt.
Mm-hmm.
No. Why are you dressed? You're dressed because they like, all right, if we really need you, we'll throw you in, but your job is done. But we're going to let you save face by calling you injured while we negotiate behind the scenes.
Yeah, at the start of the season or preseason when they said he was injured, I was like, I think that might be Tomlin just kind of like throwing Russ a little favor there.
Bone,
like, we're going to make you look okay. We'll say you're hurt.
I'm going to say this, but
yeah.
I mean,
you're not our guy.
I don't want you to think that, we like you, but we like this guy a little better. Yeah, we may like him a little better.
Precisely. The team I'm most surprised about, the Minnesota Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you got that for sure.
3-0, Sam freaking Darnold, right? Like this, again, Bryce Young, look at Sam. Look at Baker Mayfield, guys that people throw away, and all of a sudden they're really good quarterbacks in the right situation. The first win of the year was the Panthers. Like, all right, whatever. The Giants. Mm-hmm. All right, whatever. You beat the 49ers. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And they were hurt. They just only had one of their stars gone in. So one guy.
Yeah, they only had one guy. I think they had, because Debo left that game also. So it's like 1.5, right? Yep. But a couple guys hurt on the 49ers. Then you smack the Texans this past week, 34-7. And now I got to reassess. Like, wait a minute. We didn't believe, at least I'll speak for myself. I didn't believe, like, all right, y'all the Vikings. This is cute. You'll be competitive. I didn't think that
they were dominant, right? Like, or elite. And it's still early to say that, but like the way that they're playing and the amount that they're beating these teams by it's pretty convincing. I thought it was a Saints situation where maybe they started off hot and then they'd kind of be brought down to earth, which we saw with the Saints last week. Mm-hmm. And not the case, but I kind of love it for I was about to call him Andy Dalton, for Sam Darnold.
Same thing.
Same but different.
Same thing.
And I knew that they would be okay on the offensive side of the ball, even with Sam Darnold. I mean, you got Justin Jefferson. You got guys that can go out there and play. Jordan Addison. They got a pretty good tight end. They're also, and they got Aaron Jones. Mm-hmm. But the defensive side of the ball, and we're talking about vindication right now. Brian Flores. All right, we leave. I'm the head coach of Miami. I'm leaving there. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to make me a dominant defense. With the scraps of what you give me, I'm still going to have a dominant defense. I'm looking at them like, who's really there that's really all of that? Oh, nobody's really all of that, but all these guys play well. You know what I'm saying? Together. They got one of the oldest safeties in the league in Harrison Smith. Harrison Smith, he probably doesn't know any of the coaching staff back at Notre Dame where he played. They probably went through 3 coaching staffs. That's how long he's been in the league right now and still balling at a high level. I'm trying to see. They got Stephon Gilmore. Stephon Gilmore ain't been good since he left the Patriots. You know what I'm saying? And balling right now. So, you got to look at them, man. They have been exactly what the doctor ordered from the defensive side of the ball, because Brian Flores is making those guys believe in themselves, bro. They're believing in themselves.
And it's at home, like when Minnesota's good, they have a different level of home field advantage.
Oh,
it is Seattle. It is Philly. It is that dome up in Minnesota. If you want to play there, it's a horror show for a lot of teams. And that's why they've been so dominant, being the 49ers and the Texans on back-to-back weeks at home.
Did you hear what I said? They cheat.
Why they cheat?
They pipe in noise there.
What?
They pipe in noise.
What do you mean?
It's already a loud crowd.
Yeah.
They're in a dome.
doing the Skull Viking chant,
all that, but then they pipe the noise in also. So it's double loud.
Sounds smart to me.
But you can't do that, man.
Sounds smart to me.
That's not fair, bro.
So it's what, like fake crowd noise?
Yes.
How do you know? Who
Yeah,
are your sources?
When I played there, I was with Detroit. I played there twice.
Chris Carter and
you know
Randy.
what I'm saying? But they were real back then.
Yeah.
But I mean, they still piped in noise. Now this new stadium is state of the art now.
Yeah.
Now they know they can pipe in and not get caught because they rigged it to be that way, brother. I guess it ain't cheating if you ain't trying.
Yes, I wish we had that advantage, right? Wouldn't you wish your team had that advantage? Say, I'll take it.
Nah, we wouldn't need that. Our fans are loud enough.
But imagine if it was even more. All right, Sunday spread, once again presented by BetQL, Devin Caney, Barrett Brooks, Sean Bell. When we come back, it's upsets. And this segment really matters because every week it's upsets galore by teams you would never expect. So we're going to talk about the upsets, talk about the bets, and tell you who we take. This is a Sunday spread. Welcome back to the Sunday spread. Once again, week 4, Devin Caney, Barrett Brooks, Sean Bell, presented by BetMGM on the BetQL network. It's upset time. All right, this all has been the first 3 weeks, it feels like. There's been major upsets, and not just 1 or 2, 5, 6, 7, 8 upsets in a week. So let's get to the teams that we think can do it again this week. Barrett, I'll start with you. Who do you think, out of all the upsets?
I'm looking at this, and it was really hard this week because all the parity in the NFL right now. I mean, the parity is awesome. But my upset of the week, I'm going with, I don't know if it's necessarily an upset, though, because Vikings at the Packers, and everybody's saying, Packers are still good. But I like the Vikings. They're 3-0. Packers only 2-1. And it's almost even. But I'm really going to go the Vikings upset the Packers. Even though they have a favorable record.
I'm actually surprised that the Vikings are underdogs. I know that they're on the road, but I mean, the Vikings, we were just talking about them last segment. They've been a really, really good team. Yeah. And with the Packers, I know Jordan Love is now practicing and they're saying he is likely going to play, but how healthy is he going to be? I just feel like there's too many questions surrounding the quarterback situation in Green Bay for them to be underdogs. So
and they're going to rush him back.
That.
They're going to rush him back. And that's really why I think there's going to be an upset because they're going to rush him back. He's going to get hurt. I mean, I hate saying that because I hate seeing players get hurt. My apologies. But I'm just going to say, going against that defense, who's fundamentally sound, that's what makes them so good. They're fundamentally sound. They're in their gaps. They play defense the right way. I'm going with the Vikings. That's my major, major upset, the Packers losing to the Vikings.
Yeah, and shout out to Malik Willis.
Their
2 wins has been under him,
down.
and he's played well, a lot better than you thought he would play coming from Tennessee. But y'all are right. The Vikings have played such dominant football, beating, again, the Vikings and 49ers in back-to-back weeks. It's okay, it's just the Packers. I know it's at Green Bay, but so what? Devin, who would you pick?
So I actually like the Colts. I know that we were just talking about the Steelers, and I think that they played an incredible season so far. They're 3-0. I just think that the Colts need a win here. They have a strong offensive line to combat that incredible Steelers defensive front. And I think that the Colts can have some success on the ground against the Steelers defense. I mean, Jonathan Taylor he went off last week. He had 2 touchdowns. I think he can do it again against that Steelers defense. So I like the Colts plus 100.
A lot of ones are close too.
Yeah,
there's a lot of games that I'm this doesn't seem like that much of an upset. Maybe because these teams are going on the road, but still.
I think give yours. I'm gonna give yours. I'm gonna give one more that I really like too. Go
ahead. This is not to poke at y'all, but the Eagles worry me because as a San Francisco 49er, I was in this position last week where everybody's hurt.
Yeah.
Right. Debo out, George Kittle out, Christian McCaffrey out, Trent Williams in and out the game. Nick Bosa was questionable coming into the game. Fred Warner was questionable coming into the game. It's just a whole lot of injuries in a whole lot of places, and that catched up with the 49ers at the end of the game. At the end of the game, the 49ers had to rely on Ronnie Bell, who's their 5th wide receiver, to make a game-saving catch. Well, and he drops it right in his hand because he's number 5.
Right.
The Eagles are going to be in this position, even though they're at home this week, where they're going to have certain guys who are 4th on the depth chart, 5th on the depth chart to step up. So if you don't have Devontae out with a concussion, you don't have A.J. Brown out with the concussion, all right, Dallas, we're not going to let you get off. Saquon always, because of their offensive line so great, Saquon's always going to get some of his. it's going to be, and Lane Johnson out. We know how they play without Lane Johnson.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the
This
big
is
thing.
going to be a survival game. I feel the same with the 49ers, even though they're just playing the Patriots. It's survival mode. It's survival mode for
Before
a lot
the
of
bye.
teams. Yes, before the bye, but it's survival mode for a lot of teams for the first 6 or 7 weeks in the season. I look at it like that for the Eagles now that they have injuries, for the 49ers, for the Green Bay Packers. There's a bunch of teams that go, if we just get to 3-3, when everybody gets healthy, 4-3, when everybody gets healthy, we'll be great because no one's separating themselves, and we can be great in the second half of the season and make our Super Bowl push. But it's going to be tough to be that way when you have that many people out, and now you got your fifth wide receiver being your third, your fourth being your second, et cetera, et cetera. So I think this is going to be incredibly tough moment. And, oh, by the way, I still think the Eagles secondary isn't very good. You're dealing with Mike Evans and Godwin. So I just think this is going to be a tough game for the Eagles. Again, I'm not even poking at y'all. I just think if you had your guns and you were healthy, it's no problem. But you don't. So I think that's going to be a tough game. I don't know how y'all feel about that game.
You got to look at the Bucs are also, kind of limping into this game also.
Yeah, both Mike Evans and Godwin were on the injury report. Did not practice, but they were listed.
So. Yep. And then you got Vita Vea on that list also. I doubt if he plays. He didn't play last week. I doubt if he plays this game. So they're in the walking wounded also. I mean, this has been kind of crazy how many big stars have been hurt for in the NFL at this point. But man, I tell you, this is what I love watching football, man. Because week to week, the way these guys are playing, it's really, 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 man, led to a lot of parity in the NFL. They got exactly what they want, a lot of parity. But I mean, one more game that I want to, say, an underdog. And an underdog with a better record than the team they're going against. And that's Bills over the Ravens.
I agree with that one.
I mean, I don't understand
why.
why.
The Bills are underdogs?
Yes, the Bills are underdogs.
Because it's
That's so surprising. I didn't even consider that because I assumed that the Bills were not. I didn't even
I looked and I
notice
saw
them
what?
on the list here.
Yeah.
Are you kidding
Wow.
me? But that's another game, Bills. I mean, Bills have been balling right now. I mean, Josh Allen is playing, out of his mind. Their running game is amazing.
Yeah, they're playing really well, but I mean, the Ravens are going to be really hungry because they've just had so many late game collapses that I feel like they're going to have a fire lit under their butts and need to get a win here. But the Bills are a really good team. They're playing really, really well.
So let me ask y'all this. Desperation mode.
Yeah.
We talked about the team we're surprised about on the good aspect of it. What about the teams on the bad aspect? Who's in the biggest desperation mode this season? I know it's only week 4.
Those a lot of Eagles last week. Sure.
I know it's week 4, so it's technically no one's desperate. No one's in a must-win situation. But you kind of know what it is. What team do y'all look at? I know I'm just spurring this question on. It's not actually on a rundown, so I'll give you a couple of mine first to let y'all sort of think about it. One, I was thinking about the 49ers. They have a first-place schedule if you don't beat the Patriots.
Right.
And Debo's still out, Christians is still out, and all these people are still out. When I say survive in the early weeks of the season and beat 3-3, 4-3, they can't afford to go 2-4.
Yeah.
They can't afford to go 2-5 or be in that type of scenario, the San Francisco 49ers. If you got the Patriots in your schedule, you got to eat. Because you got the Kansas City Chiefs and you got the Bills and you got all these other big dogs that you have to deal with. And then the other team I would take is the Baltimore Ravens. Right? Like, you're supposed to be Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you have a first-place schedule also.
Yeah.
So you're playing first-place teams the entire year on top of being in that division. The Bengals are going to bounce back at some point. So the Ravens have to perform.
The Bengals are my desperation mode team. I mean, for them to come into this season with all these high expectations on Joe Burrow, coming in off that injury after missing so much time, to start the season 0-4. I mean, that at that point, like I don't think that means you're definitely going to miss the playoffs because anything can happen. But that's not looking good. So and like you're coming in, you're playing the Panthers, and I know the Panthers are riding the momentum off of the Red Rifle coming in and saving their season. Like that's going to be a tough game, and I just think that the Bengals need a win here in order to save their season. Like that is a desperation mode game, absolutely for me.
You're right. That is. I mean, when you're slated to be that high, you're in desperation. Another team in the same way you're talking is I think the Lions. I think the Lions are in desperation mode. Even though they're going against the Seattle team and they're favored against the Seattle team, I just think they're in desperation mode. They got to win every game after this because of the nature of their division. You've got the Green Bay Packers are kind of snuck up in that division. They're supposed to be really good. Then you turn around, Minnesota's balling lights out, and you got to really take control of the division.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're playing against a conference team like Seattle, you have to win that game. From this point on, there's it's too much parity in their division right now to fall back. You could be squeaking by teams, and all of a sudden, bam, you look at the end of the year, and Minnesota may be winning the division, you know what I'm saying, for power schedule or whatever it is, and the Packers the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, to me, they're going to pick each other off, and I think the Lions are in desperation mode because they have to be the team to beat in their division.
Yeah. And the Jags, I mean, Doug Peterson potentially coaching for his job. We said that last week.
Definitely, yes. He's definitely coaching for his
job. I mean, I'm surprised by the Jags and how I didn't think that they're going to come in and be Super Bowl contenders, but I'm surprised at how poorly they played, especially Trevor Lawrence. So I don't know if they're even desperate at this point. I think Doug Peterson is probably desperate as head coach.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Coaching
like,
first job.
It's firing time.
Yeah.
And also Trevor Lawrence.
And Trevor
At
Lawrence.
some point,
Who
you
is
got to
their
go.
backup quarterback?
Oh.
Do they have a viable
Let me
option?
look
that
a quick
I'll look
search.
it up right now.
Because Trevor Lawrence,
not looking good.
he's coaching, playing for his job, right?
Yeah.
Like at some point, you got to go.
No, he's not playing for his job.
You don't think so?
They just gave him the money, bro. When you got that much money, bruh.
They having buyer's remorse at the very least.
Oh, no, there's no question
They
about
got to
that.
have buyer's remorse at this point.
But how is that, though? How is it? Is
Wait,
Mac
it's
Jones?
Mac Jones?
Mac Jones, yeah. Mac Jones. Ooh. No, he's secure. He's all right.
Mac Jones time down in Jacksonville?
No,
I don't know.
he's okay. Yeah,
I don't think he is.
Well, I mean, they're not going to.
He's looked like Mac Jones.
Well,
He's looked like Mac Jones.
He has.
Right,
He
like
has.
we being honest with ourselves. Trevor got the
Yeah.
name and had the one playoff run, but he's looked
Yeah.
like Mac Jones for most of his career.
I mean, they're playing. If they continue to play and they continue to lose, they might have to try Mac Jones.
Well,
like
you know
they,
what?
Like
You're
they're
absolutely right. Yes.
because they're in desperation mode.
You're right.
Like they're gonna try anything.
So let me ask y'all this: the Jaguars,
Mm-hmm.
they look like the worst team in the league.
Mhm.
If they end up with the worst record, do you draft Cam Ward? Do you draft Shador Sanders? Do you draft one of those college studs, or are you still 100% on Trevor Lawrence? Would you trade him? Because in my mind, I'm like, I gotta go to this combine and look at the Miami quarterback, Carson Beck. Even though I think he's overrated, I gotta look at one of these studs and go, Quinn Ayers, who's hurt from Texas. I gotta look at one of these studs and be like, Trevor, you ain't that guy. You may have been better in college than those individuals,
Yeah.
but you've had a lot of tools next to you. I get it. You came in the league with Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer stunk and stunted your growth. The next year, Doug Peterson did a great job of getting you to the playoffs. But 2 years in a row, I go, okay, maybe in the right situation, you're a good quarterback.
Yeah.
The elite ship has sailed.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to have the number 2 pick in the draft, it's almost like the Chicago Bears was like, we like Justin Fields, but we got the number 1 pick in the draft.
Bro,
So why not
How's
pick
that working out for you?
Yeah, I know.
The press
I know.
is-
That's
you
a
know.
story for another day, but yes.
Yeah.
But
Well, and if Doug
just-
Peterson stays around, you saw what he did with the Eagles. He's a big reason they brought in Jalen Hurts in the second round when Carson Wentz had
Da-da-da.
gotten paid and was their
Da-da-da.
starting quarterback. So he's not afraid. I think it depends on who's making the overall decision.
Would
in
you
Jacksonville.
make
It's a small.
Would I
Y'all
make
make
the
that
decision?
decision.
It's a
Is
small-
Trevor
yeah.
your guy? But if you have a chance, if you got a top 3 pick, there's plenty of
That window
quarterbacks.
is this small right now because that defense
Uh-huh.
is great right now, but they're only great for a little while. They're starting to influx guys in. Like they have Devin Lloyd, all these guys, you know what I'm saying? Josh Hines Allen, all guys that can play. Trevon Walker. All these guys can play. But they're starting to trickle in like Ronald Darby and stuff like that because you can only sustain them being that great for a long time. And at this point, Trevor Lawrence was supposed to be the heir apparent to one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. From a little kid, he was compared to like Joe Montana.
Yeah.
And then now he's playing like this?
I remember when he was at Clemson, he was supposed to be like
Right.
the
The look-
saving grace of the NFL. Like he was
Look,
going
the
to
hair
come in.
flowing.
Yeah,
and stuff, and all that.
Yeah, and he has not really played up to expectations. So
Him and Mark Fields were like this the whole time they were, going through the ranks of, playing in, even from high school to college, now to the NFL. They were always tied together because they went to all the 707 camps, all the big quarterback camps together. You know what I'm saying? Trying to feel like who was the better quarterback. It's tough on him right now. You know, Trevor Lawrence is supposed to be the best quarterback in the league right now. He just got paid, but the Eagles have set the precedence on cutting and having a $34 million cap hit and survived it and still stayed in the elite level. The precedence is there.
And listen,
you know,
I still think
Denver seconded that with it's like $80 million they still own.
I still think Trevor could be good, maybe in another situation. Yep. But I do think they have to think about, all right, if we're going to have a top 3 pick and one of those go out, I'm going to have to measure on which guy I think has a higher ceiling and higher potential and say Trevor Lawrence stock isn't too low where you can't get some nice things from him if you send him to another situation. So I do think that I do want to get to, since we're on these quarterbacks, these young quarterbacks. Hey, NFC East, y'all in trouble. That kid, Jay Daniels.
Yeah.
That last touchdown throw he threw where he was getting hit and under 2 seconds, he threw a dime in the corner to Terry McLaurin. I said, oh, my goodness. I said, this dude is different. Yeah. He is what you thought Caleb Williams was going to be. Like, maybe I'm heaping too much praise on the kid.
Yeah, I mean, it's only been a game. But, yeah, no, he's really good. I've said it from the start this offseason. The Commanders are maybe not necessarily this season. They're going to be a team to watch for, you know, as covering the Eagles, like having to play against an in-division team. Like they're like a few key players away from being a legit team. And Jaden Daniels is a big reason for that. Well, so
you're absolutely
scary.
Right. It's scary because, number one.
Because he's there to stay.
Yes.
Yes. Not going anywhere.
I'm mad about that because once you find a quarterback, the whole organization goes up. And they just cleaned out they didn't just clean out, you know what I'm saying, the coaching staff and everything. They cleaned out the owner and everything. You know what I'm saying? So they need a new culture, and they are building a culture right now behind Jalen Daniels, who's got that confidence and swag, and that they're letting Jahan Dotson, they let him go because they have guys there that can ball. You know what I'm saying? All their receivers
and again, we all called him stupid. At least I called him stupid.
I did too.
For letting Jahan Dotson get to the Eagles. But again, the Eagles have not utilized him. And
we'll see this weekend because
he's basically the number 1 receiver.
Yeah.
This week, allegedly, after getting
he's
targets.
The guy now.
And to wrap this all in a bow, because we started off talking about upsets, the Commanders plus 150 against the Cardinals. I'll take it.
I don't know.
Riding high again. I think the Cardinals, like you said, Barrett, are a better team than we thought.
Yep.
But Washington's riding high. They're playing some really good football, and again, I know they have to travel to Arizona, but Washington is riding high. Jaden Daniels is playing great football. Terry McLaurin is playing great football. That's another game I'm looking at. Again, lot of the upsets.
Noah Brown, the former Dallas receiver, balling for him.
Yeah. Again, and it's weird because there's so many 2-1 and 1-2 teams that you're just kind of like, is any of this really an upset?
I'm surprised you didn't talk about your boy Luke McCaffrey, brother.
Where is he at?
Washington.
Oh, see,
is he really? Yeah, wait, I didn't know that.
Yes,
I didn't even know that Christian McCaffrey had. What does he play?
Receiver.
Really?
Baller. Yes, he got drafted in the third round.
He was like receiver, running back, like do it all type.
I had no idea.
He balling? He played? I didn't even notice.
Yes. They got a squad down there. And then they got what's his name? Zacchaeus.
Oh man, so scary.
Olamide Zacchaeus.
Watch out for him.
The sarcasm.
He's not the one though. But he's not the one. It's tight end Zach Ertz that's leading the call.
Balling. Shout out to Zach. Don't hate on Zach.
Leading the cause.
Salute to Zach, man. I'm glad he's still out here doing his thing. Making money balling. Listen.
Yeah, it goes from Zach Ertz, and he's showing these other guys how to play.
Shout out to Zach. All right, we got to take a break. Show some love to Zach. Show some love to Zachary Ertz. Welcome back to Sunday Spread, presented by BetMGM on the BetQL network. Devin Caney, Barrett Brooks, Sean Bell kicking it with you. It's anytime touchdown. All right, this is what we are. And again, make sure y'all take advantage of y'all bonus bets. Presented by, again, on BetMGM. It's bonus bets. It's no sweat bets. All right, if you lose the bet, so what? You're going to get that money back to bet on something else. So make sure you take advantage. So let's go through each game and talk about, who we think may get on in the end zone. The first game we're going to do, the 1 o'clock, Saints, Falcons. Devin, I'll start with you. Anytime tutties. Who you got?
So I like an Alvin Kamara touchdown because the Eagles defense did a really good job of containing and kind of bringing this Saints offense back down to earth. It's shocking to myself and I think most people watching that game. And Alvin Kamara, I mean, 87 rush yards does not sound like a low-key game, but compared to what he did the week prior, it definitely is. And then when you look at the Falcons, their defense gave up 97 yards combined to two Chiefs running backs. We know that Alvin Kamara is also a receiving back. So I like his over-rushing receiving yards combined as well, but also definitely an anytime touchdown.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with his counterpart. I'm going to go with Bijan Robinson. Bijan.
That was also my touchdown pick. I support that. Has he scored yet this season?
Bijan scored, yeah.
He has?
I don't know how many, but he scored.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Bijan Robinson just because they want to run the ball, but I tell you what, Drake London just so much of a baller, man. Someone say right now, if you look at it, Alvin Kamara and Bijan are minus 140 to score anytime touchdown, but the odds look even better for Drake London plus 150.
Mm-hmm.
I think I might go with that instead of even Bijan. So I'm gonna go Drake London.
So you just changed your mind in real time?
Yeah. Real time. I changed my mind. Yes, I'm going Drake London. Let me write that down.
Drake London has been playing really, really well. I will say the Saints defense did not give up any receiving touchdowns to the Eagles last week.
Absolutely.
So,
You see what the Honey Badger did. Got a pick in the end zone.
Yeah. So I kind of like a Bijan anytime, but Drake London is also looking pretty unstoppable. So
yeah, I'm going Alvin Kamara. Yeah, he's just that's going to be your verse.
I want the high road.
He can get in. That's the easy one. It's minus 140, but he can also get you a catch, right? Like he's going to get you from both ends. And again, the running backs have been the ones that have been really doing the real damage.
But I don't think you got to look at Chris Olave too then.
Who's also been balling out.
Yeah. But again, I'm nervous to pick any wide receiver or tight end. At this point,
I have one tight end in my. We'll get there, but I do have one tight end. No, two tight ends. I lied. Who I think are gonna catch touchdown passes.
Okay, let's get to the next game. Rams Bears. Again, the Rams were down 14, ended up beating the 49ers. The Chicago Bears won their first game, but they've been a disappointment after that because Caleb Williams hasn't looked like that franchise individual. I like. Again, these are the easy ones. These aren't the big time ones with Kyron Williams.
Yeah.
The Rams ain't got much. Puka out, right? Like Cooper out. They got to rely on some other guys, and Kyron is the one consistent for that team where he's going to get a certain amount of touches. Everybody else are side guys.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how much you're actually going to get the ball. They need to feed Kyron 20 times.
Yeah.
And so that's why, again, which is why it's minus 145. That's the obvious one, but I'm going to stick with him.
That's in saying that, why aren't they feeding Swift like that? They got Swift. They paid him a little money. Why not use him?
The Bears?
For the Bears, yeah. Why not use him?
Because
that was another bad bet that I had last week. I was like, DeAndre Swift needs to go off. He's been really quiet so far this season. And against the worst run defense in the league, or one of the worst run defenses, he had another quiet week. So now I might be fading all DeAndre Swift bets.
Yeah, because he's averaging 1.8 yards a carry. That's why.
Yeah. Not great.
Right. He's averaging 1.8 yards a carry. 37 carries, 68 yards. That's why the Chicago Bears offensive line is bad.
Yeah.
But two,
and
I hate when they do this. It's a little unfair, but I end up watching it anyway on Twitter when they break down gaps that running backs didn't use. And I think they did this to DeAndre Swift when he was with the Philadelphia Eagles. It was just like, there's a lot of open space right there, and you just didn't make that cut. Right? Like, I know you went where you were supposed to go, but Saquon would have saw that.
Yep.
And it's unfair to compare you to Saquon, but still, you're like, another elite running back would have saw that. So, again, DeAndre Swift behind that offensive line, 1.8 yards a carry. That's why ain't nobody betting him.
Well, let me give you one then. And I think this will be really good, but Caleb Williams, anytime Tutty, the way he runs around and tries to be, a Brett Favre-esque type of person, QB. I think that's a real, when they get in the red zone, he's a real threat of trying to hold the ball, and that offensive line get him chased out the pocket and him going and running for a touchdown.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the next game. Let's run through these a little bit faster so we can get to our parlays at the end of this segment. Vikings-Bears. Is anybody that y'all just like right off the bat to get any time Tutty in this one?
I mean, Vikings or Packers?
Yeah.
Oh,
Vikings-Packers.
Excuse me, Viking-Packers.
Aaron Jones, I like getting a touchdown. I mean, we saw like the Packers have a.
That doesn't sound right because he's talking about
I
Talking about
know.
the Vikings. It just doesn't
I know,
sound
but
right.
exactly. But that's why. That's why
Right,
I
right.
love a good revenge game
Yeah,
storyline.
I'm with you.
Da.
And I think the Packers' pass defense is really, really good. Clearly, we saw what Saquon and other teams have done to their defense on the ground throughout this season, and revenge game. So Aaron Jones, anytime touchdown.
That's
Yeah. What you think?
this is a tough one, man. But I don't know. I mean, Packers running game just hasn't been up to what I thought it should be. I mean, I do like the Aaron Jones best. I mean, I might go with Aaron Jones.
I mean, you can say nobody. You can say you don't feel confident in nobody.
I really don't.
Because there are a couple games I feel that way also. So I do feel confident in the revenge Aaron Jones. They get within the 5. It's going to Aaron every single time. So I do feel comfortable in that. Let's get to the next game. Steelers Colts. What do y'all like in this game? I'm going to go Justin Fields anytime, Tutty. I mean, the guy has been able to just run around and make plays. I wouldn't be surprised if he scrambled and got one in this game. I think he's finding his footing as a starting quarterback, and I think he's going to continue that. Again, it hasn't been where he's throwing for a lot of yards, but nobody's thrown for a lot of yards this season. I think Justin Fields is going to run around, and that's what he does, make off-script plays, and I think one of those will be a running touchdown this game.
I'm gonna go on opposite. I'm gonna go Jonathan Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't pass the ball on that defense, but you can run a little bit on it. I think Jonathan Taylor gets a TD.
Yeah, he's coming
Anytime
off a
TD.
2-touchdown game.
Yep.
Yeah, if I had one, I would take Jonathan Taylor, but I don't have any in this game. The Steelers' defense is too good for me to confidently
Bet again.
bet any.
Yeah.
Their defense is too good, and then their offense is just
Anemic.
Justin Fields is fun to watch, but like there's no one else that I'm like, oh yeah, they're definitely gonna go out. Like Najee Harris, I don't know if I trust him that much.
It hasn't played well. Again, he was a guarantee for me last year. It hasn't been a guarantee for me this year. Hasn't consistently been able to run the ball well. Broncos Jets.
No, I hate it. I don't know why I hate this game. So I don't have anything. You guys can. I'll take notes on here.
Flat out. No. Barrett, you got one?
No.
Can I just say, though, when it comes to the Jets, I just feel, and maybe this is the Aaron Rodgers effect, like, why am I seeing them listed in, like, power rankings as Super Bowl contenders after, winning, 2 games? Like, I don't see it, and maybe I'll be proven wrong, but until I fully see how elite, quote-unquote elite, this Jets team is, I'm not, like, I think they're good, but I just feel like we're overrating them a little bit.
It's like the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Like we just got to throw them in for ratings and for conversation all the time.
You know what? I do trust Breece Hall.
Yeah, Breece Hall is great.
Yeah, I trust him. So I can trust him for an in-time tutty. I think he's that good, and they rely on him in that fashion also.
All right. We only got 5 minutes left because we going long on these things. Let's just go and pick out games and pick out players from each game that y'all want to go to. The next game we were going to get to is Eagles-Buccaneers. Y'all know how I feel about Saquon Barkley every single time. And they ain't got many weapons to give it to this time. So it's going to be Saquon Barkley. I have a feeling it's going to be one of those games where it's going to be rough because they're going to load it up 9 in the box. But all it need is for Saquon to break one. And you know he'll break one. And you know he'll take it the distance. So I got Saquon Barkley anytime touchdown. What else?
I got Mike Evans anytime touchdown.
I have Saquon. You know what? Make it 2 touchdowns for Saquon. Bucks have allowed the second most rushing touchdowns at 6 in the league. They're just behind the Cowboys. They've allowed the most at 8. So Saquon going off. Maybe even Kenny Gainwell. Maybe even Jalen Hurts. They're gonna score on the ground.
Just throwing them all out there.
Well, but Jalen Hurts. So I was afraid to throw that one out because last week it didn't hit. But the Bucks going into last week, which is why I took the Bo Nix anytime touchdown because he's semi-mobile quarterback.
Yeah.
Most of their rushing touchdowns have been allowed to mobile quarterbacks versus running backs. Jalen Hurts, we know.
Mike Evans, we got to go Mike Evans because, I mean, he's always telling those guys they're too small. You know what I'm saying? I don't care who it is. Quinyon, it doesn't matter.
Y'all could jump around. I'm going to jump to 49ers. You know I got to. Jordan Mason, anytime touchdown.
He's becoming like the new, well, he literally is the Christian McCaffrey, but like in terms of a guarantee for the 49ers.
You know they're going to feed him the rock.
Yeah.
You know what's going to happen there. So, I think I'm picking him and Saquon almost every week until Christian McCaffrey gets back, especially because Debo and all those guys, he's not nowhere near Saquon, but it's one of those things where I know this guy's going to get 25 touches and get the touches when you get to goal line situations. Deb, any other, in general, touchdowns that you want to go to?
Yes, I have one more, and it's Mike Gesicki in the Bengals-Panthers game. So I know we talked about
different.
I know we talked about, fading tight end props. But he's a tight end who actually has gotten a decent amount of action so far. Pause. Throughout the start of the season, and the Panthers have literally the worst defense in terms of touchdowns and red zone defense on tight ends. So I think the Mike Gesicki is going to get one.
I'm going with the Bills-Ravens game. I got to go Derrick Henry anytime tutty. I think that's one of the easiest bets you can get. Anytime tutty, Derrick Henry.
I like that.
I've gone with them the last 2 weeks, but again, I feel like it's gonna be tough with the Buffalo Bills defense. And
they have nothing else.
They're gonna load it. Yeah, they have nothing else. But you would think they're gonna be like, Lamar, you got to pass from the pocket and that's it. Mm-hmm. Again, it's impossible to make Lamar do that because of his ability. But you're gonna pass from the pocket. I think the Ravens are gonna have a tough time scoring in that game, even though they're home. All right, any other you want to go with? I'll go with I know the Chargers have a great defense. I'll go with Rashee Rice though. He's been special.
Rashee Rice, yeah.
He's been special for the Kansas City Chiefs, despite all his offseason issues. Special. Right? Like, he's been the go-to. Travis ain't been there. Pacheco ain't there. Right? Xavier Worthy doesn't get the consistent touches. He's been the only one that they make sure they go to, and he's gotten a touchdown almost every week. So I'm going with Rice.
So I know that we need to wrap this soon, but on that Chiefs-Chargers game, I know we've been talking about fading Travis Kelce is at a down year. You could take anytime touchdown or maybe even just over receiving yards because he is a Charger killer since 2020, averaging 120, almost 122 receiving yards per game, 49 total receptions, 7 receiving touchdowns. Record is 5-1 against the Chargers. So if Travis Kelce, and I also feel like he's got to be at this point hearing the noise, even Andy Reid's been asked about Travis Kelce's lack of production. Mm-hmm. They might just want to intentionally feed him to kind of quiet that.
One more, I'll give you a deuce on it. CeeDee Lamb, anytime tutty, with Malik Neighbors, anytime tutty, same game.
So Malik Neighbors went nuts last week. Yeah. I ain't mad. Some of his toe touching has been absolutely ridiculous. And Travis, this is not the benefit of dating Taylor Swift. If you do all those things in the off season, if you ain't performing, boy, they gonna light your butt up. So he better perform. All right, when we come back.
That's what I'm saying, though.
Yes, when we come back, alternatives. Our man Kenny Anderson's gonna come up and give us some alternatives. The big time bets, the plus 75s, the plus 100s, the plus 125, the bets that'll win you a lot of money, but not a lot of people are going to bet. All right, this is the Sunday Spread. Welcome back to the Sunday Spread. Once again, week 4. Presented by BetMGM on the BetQL network. Sean Bell, Barrett Brooks, Devin Caney. Let's bring in our man Kenny, our producer. Bring it in and talk about some of the alternative bets, the big bets, the plus 75s, the plus 100s, all those good things that'll win you a lot of money. Kenny, what you got for us today?
I absolutely do. Because I do like the Packers' pass defense, but I don't like their run defense. They have some guys like Walker. All these guys can play, but I really, really like Aaron Jones going out. Former team, that revenge factor. I do like that bet. I like that bet.
I do too. I'm absolutely taking it. Last segment, I said I liked him for an anytime touchdown, so I like him to get over 100 yards on the ground as well.
That's a bet I wouldn't even thought about, but yes. Right? I'm going to be honest with you. I just wouldn't have thought about it. Again, you're facing a good team. Normally when I say you're facing Minnesota Vikings team or the Minnesota Vikings facing Green Bay team who's played pretty well. They're 2-1, and it's a rivalry game. I'm like, nah, I'm not going to go pick anybody to go off like that. But yeah, you break it down to me, it's 100% yes. It's common sense. They've let up big running games. Aaron Jones, revenge game, like you said, Devin. So I'm with you.
Barkley, ran all over him.
Yeah, and
Taylor ran over him.
That's how they're successful, right?
Yeah.
I know Sam Darnold's played great football, but it's got to be balanced. It's got to be play action, and they're gonna feed Aaron Jones in this revenge game. So yeah, we all on board, Kenny.
You know what? I'm not gonna fade that bet. I might look into it, do a little more research. I like Kyler Murray, and like I said, I'm enjoying what he's done. I know they're not gonna be able to run the ball because they got 2 hogs up front, so the run game won't be as pronounced. But I tell you what, passing game, I think they'll be able to do a little something. I might take you up on that. I really might take you up and hit the way. I keep wanting to call him calamari because one of my co-hosts calls him calamari all the time, but it's Kyler Murray. Okay, Kyler Murray. I do like his frenetic play, runs out the pocket, and he has that knack of making big plays down the field, chunk plays down the field when he plays like that. I'm going with the 300. Yes, I'm taking that bet. I'm fading that bet. I'm not fading that bet. I'm taking that bet.
I'm fading it. I mean, he had 207 passing yards against the Lions, whose secondary hasn't been playing that great. I just think that they're going to run the ball more against this Commanders defense. I also know that, we're all hot on the Commanders' new quarterback. I think that the Cardinals are going to have the lead, and because they're going to have the lead, they're going to run the ball more. So I'm fading that.
Yeah, I don't like it either. His high is 262 this year.
Yeah.
Passing has just not been up, right? Like, passing has been down. There has been a lot of great passing performances. So I just don't think he'll be able to get that. And a lot of what he does is also he's the king of 200 yards passing, 50 yards rushing, right? Like, he's one of those type of guys. Like, I'm going to do a little bit on the ground. And they love to feed James Conner. So, right, like, they want him if
who had a quiet game last week. So
yeah.
I feel like he'll want to, feed him a lot
more.
Yeah,
and a successful offensive game plan for them is James Conner goes for 100 plus to feed the running game, and Kyler Murray goes for 200 yards and 50 running on the ground. Like, that's a successful, balanced game plan for them. So even though Washington is weak, and I know they let up 324 to Joe Burrow, but again, Joe Burrow's more equipped to put up 324 with Jamar Chase and the boys than
right.
Let me tell
Kyler
you
Murray is.
All right, let me try to change your mind about this.
Okay.
Do you really think that Jalen Daniels can have the same performance he had last week this week? We're talking about a rookie. I mean, he played lights out last week, and you think he's going to go up from playing like that? That might be the best game he plays all season. Can we think that that's going to be him from this point on?
No, that's why I think the Cardinals are going to have the lead. So they're not going to have to throw it, right?
Well, they're not going to be able to run it against. They're not
solid,
going to be able to run.
Solid.
I'm looking at Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen. I mean, those guys. I mean, what's his name? Cleveland Farrell from Clemson, first round draft choice from he just got him from San Fran. I just really think those guys up front are going to bow up and not allow the running game to be effective in this game. So I think they're going to have to pass the ball.
Listen, I think Jaden Daniels he played perfect. So I don't think that's happening. I think he's going to play well. Yeah. But either way, again, I just don't think Kyler Murray, like Devin said, the running game is just going to be strong. They may be up, so it won't really matter. But again, I think regardless if they're up or down, both teams are going to rely on the running game way too much for him to go for 300 plus yards. So and again, it's just tough this season with all quarterbacks to get 300 is a tough feat this year. So Kenny, we're divided on that. What do you got next? I'm be honest with you. I can never bet on a quarterback to get it. I know Lamar does it. I know he has a few games a year where he does it, but I could never, especially against the Bills, who's a good defense. And again, I know he shredded up the Kansas City Chiefs, who are a good defense and had over 100 yards. And again, he's done it in playoff games, et cetera, et cetera. That is just one bet that is too rich for my blood. Maybe I'm just a punk. Call me what you want to call me. I'm scared, right? Like, because again, that's plus 500. It's not like a impossible thing. He does it, but it's just my nerves can't handle that.
Yeah, I'm gonna fade that. I mean, why would you need him to get over 100 when you have Derrick Henry on your team? So I just think that they're gonna rely more on Derrick Henry here than Lamar Jackson. I could go with maybe like over 85.
Yeah,
but not 100.
I would fade that. I would
even
fade
85, like maybe 65. Over 65.
I was about to say 85 and 100 is too
85
close.
like,
if you say 85, then you might as well go for the gusto.
I'm fading that entirely. I'm fading that. I mean, come on. Now, you're talking about a Buffalo defense that they really, really, really pride themselves on being a good defense. I just think they're going to bow up this time and be like, yo, you're not doing that against us. That's not happening against us. We're too good to do that. No, you're not doing that. No.
Yeah, I mean, again,
they're going to stack the box.
I think he can because he does it all the time. Kenny, I think it may be a pretty sound bet if you want to take a risk. I'm just too scared.
Well,
I'm just a punk. So.
Who do they have? I mean, who do they have from receiving? Come on, they got Nelly. Nelly's their guy.
Shout out to Nelson Aguilar. Love him.
Yep. I mean, Bateman.
I love the old Eagles more than y'all love the old Eagles. It's a shame. Y'all are Eagles fans.
No, I used to like Nelson Aguilar. I never gave him the hate that everyone else did.
Great guy.
Nelly just got him. He got casual fans on TV. Unlike Aguilar.
Yeah.
Man, you know what I mean?
Great guy. Love Nelson Aguilar. Kenny, what else you got?
I actually do, especially with the favorites. Your favorite, and we're talking about minuscule lines also. I'll take that just because, man. I don't know, man. This is tough in the aspect. You look at all these games and the parity of the league right now and how things have been going. There hasn't been one super team that just is going to go in and win. Not even the last year's Super Bowl champs. So I mean, I think that is a good bet. I think it is.
The tough thing about it is, like, I think it looks great.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done these type of bets in the first 3 weeks. But there have been so many ridiculous upsets that parlaying for a 4-game situation like this almost guaranteed a loss in the first 3 weeks, right? Just because it's just like you're going to have over a quarter of the games are going to be games that or upsets or you would never guess.
Mm-hmm.
Or you wouldn't touch.
Yeah. So to parlay this, each one of this individually is sound. And altogether, it's also sound. But in my head, based on how the first 3 weeks went, I wouldn't do it just because of how the first 3 weeks went. Like, you're going to get somebody where you go, how the hell did the Patriots beat the Niners?
Right.
How the hell did the Bears blow the Rams out by 30 and Caleb Williams throw for 400 yards? Like, it's one of those seasons. So again, me being a punk again.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel the same way. So the first, I think, 2 weeks of the season, I did my own little like parlay where I would pick sides, and it failed miserably every time because it's just been such an unpredictable season. Barrett keeps using the word parity. Like, it's insane so far at least for the first 3 weeks of the season. So I don't know. What makes me the most nervous here is probably maybe the Chiefs. The Chiefs have been like analytically ranked the luckiest team. Shocking, I know, throughout the first 3 weeks of the season, where calls have just been going their way, and they've been pretty close games. Like, they had Patrick Mahomes, and that offense has not been. No offense has really been explosive, but the Chiefs has been super underwhelming, and the Chargers are a different Chargers team this year. So, out of these four, that's probably the game where I wouldn't feel them as confident taking the Chiefs to win by a field goal. I think they could easily be upset because they are, due for the luck to maybe not go their way for once. So I'm going to fade that for now.
Yeah, because I've basically done a version of this every week where I go, I'm going to pick 3 games that I think are guaranteed.
And it never goes
guarantees.
My way.
Yeah, it's going to be like, that's a guarantee.
Yeah.
I'll put down money on that, and that will pay for the rest of my bets just in case I lose the rest of my bets, right? Like, I'm going to put a 20 spot on the obvious 3 games. That'll win me enough money where I'll be just fine every single time. The Panthers winning last week, and the Broncos beating the Buccaneers last week.
The Browns have been killing me, bro.
Niners losing the week, and it's always somebody. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Right, and so it's been that type of situation every week, and that's why, Kenny, I'm just kind of like, I think we're all kind of we're gonna stay away from putting 4 games together. This is
with
an
it.
individual bet week. Like, I'm a bet this individual game, and that's it until all of this gets figured out.
Well, that's why I'm doing it, man. Because right now this is the 4th week. This is where the NFL teams get their identity. Usually the 4th game, what you see them play in the 4th game is what their identity is for the rest of the season. That's usually how it goes.
Unless you're super, super injured, which a lot of teams are, like the 49ers.
Yeah, that's the only thing, yeah.
Because we're not going to see the true Eagles or 49ers when they don't have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, literally like any of their starting receivers.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's a good point.
We don't know who the Eagles or Niners are until week 9.
Teams,
way to burst my bubble, Devin. Way to burst my bubble.
Sorry.
Dang, man. Again, I was all with you, bro.
I just think injuries have been so crazy this season, and passing's been down. It's been sloppy. Like, it's just been unpredictable. So
I'm still with you though, kid. I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. I'm going with it. I'm the only one.
Yeah,
I'm the only brave.
We're gonna have to
put that in the books and remind me of it next week.
Right? Okay. Listen, all right. When we come up, we're gonna talk about the biggest games. All right, we're going to break down the biggest games of the week, the desperation games, the games with two really good teams, or at least what we think are really good teams, because we don't know at this point in the season because of how crazy it's been. All right, this is the Sunday Spread. Devin Caney, Barry Brooks, Sean Bell. Once again, welcome back to the Sunday Spread. It's time to bring Kenny back in to talk about the biggest games, to talk about the biggest games of the week. Again, it's been a lot of them so far this season. There's been a lot of games where you didn't think it was a big game, but it ended up being a big-time game that can decide what happens at the end of the season. So, Kenny, what games you got for us?
I'm looking for the upset, going into this game. It's a lot of bad blood between, Aaron Jones and, everybody's consistently saying, is this Sam Darnold really a good player? And I think he's getting a little pissed off about it. Their defensive coordinator, is playing, these guys in the right positions, they're playing very well. I'm going with the Vikings and plus 2.5. I think, at this point, the Vikings have shown me enough that this is who they are. This is who they are.
I think it obviously depends on Jordan Love's status. And then even, if he's definitely set to play, how healthy he is. Like we don't know if that's, what is it? His Achilles or knee?
His
something.
ankle, right?
Ankle.
Yeah,
I don't know.
ankle, yeah,
if that's still bothering him. I just think it's hard to bet against this Vikings team right now. They're playing really, really good football. And maybe because of that, they're due to be brought down to earth. Like we saw that with few games in week 3, like the Eagles-Saints game. We all thought the Saints were untouchable going into that week, and it turns out they're not. So I think Jordan Love could also bring some extra motivation to the Packers if he plays to kind of fully, come back in front of a home crowd. But I just have a hard time betting against the Vikings. I know everyone is hot on the Packers in this one. I think the Vikings are going to win.
Yeah, I also think it would be stupid to play Jordan Love. You're 2-1. This is desperation mode. Why are you rushing him back to deal with further injury? And I also think Matt LaFleur is doing hey, I want you to game plan for both.
Yep.
One of those things coaches do. I don't think they have any real plans of playing Jordan Love.
Really?
He could play. Who knows? Game plan for all our quarterbacks for all situations. Those little things that coaches like to do to sort of get an advantage, so to not let people know. Because, again, I think it would be dumb to play Jordan Love when you are 2-1. Everything's up in the air. I know Minnesota's 3-0, but no one's really setting themselves apart as a team that had to go get in the NFC, in the entire NFL. So why play them and risk it and risk them coming back early? So because of that, I think Malik Willis plays. And again, Malik Willis played great football, 2-0 as a starter. Mm-hmm. But I think the Vikings flat out win. I think they've just been playing great football. They're not one of the injured teams like everybody else is injured in the NFC, in the entire NFL. So why not? Aaron Jones, like you said, Devin, revenge game, balling.
What's the only thing, you got to think this is the division game. You can't lose division games. So everybody's going to come with everything. They're going to come with their ace. Even though it's early in the season, they're going to come with their ace because this is the division game.
I got you. What you got next, Kenny?
Well, I agree with everything that you said, Kenny. Trust me, here in Philadelphia, it is a very hot button topic. Nick Sirianni and his poor decision making. Look, that Eagles-Saints game took years off my life. Like, I don't think that I've been more frustrated watching an Eagles team in a very long time. Because even Jalen Hurts turning the ball over, and I know you can argue it's not his fault and yada, yada. It is very frustrating to watch.
I thought that game was going to end 6-3. I was like, what the hell is this?
It was insane. But look, props to the Eagles defense. Hopefully they can show up again in Tampa Bay. I'm curious as to what the weather is going to look like in Tampa Bay, because in case no one has seen, there is a hurricane heading towards Tampa Bay, and it could still be lingering. So it could be, I don't believe that Raymond James has a roof, does it?
No, it doesn't.
So it could be
88 degrees, rain, and cloudy.
Right.
I don't see any storms.
It could be slick, though. So, but regardless, even if it is sunny, I think it's going to be a run-heavy game on both sides of the ball.
Yep.
Bucks haven't allowed a receiving touchdown. Again, they've allowed the second most rushing touchdown. So I think that Saquon Barkley is going to go off again. I think Jalen Hurts is going to get a touchdown. I worry about the Eagles' injuries, though. Without Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, is that going to be enough to combat, guys like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin on the other side? But I still think the Eagles will win.
Okay.
I think the Eagles are going to win because they're going to go in, with it being a sloppy type of game, I think that they're going to go in with 12 personnel, 1 running back, 2 tight ends. They're going to sit Grant Calcaterra's ass on the sideline, sit him down because he can't block a soul right now. And Stahl will come in. He'll be heavy running game with him. If they want to pass, they can take shot plays by just making sure that they have both of those tight ends in and have them solid block if they wanted to push the ball down the field, but they're not going to want to. I mean, at this point, they don't have anybody at receiver. You got Dotson. I mean, they went out and got Ross. Ross is now on their practice squad. Mm-hmm. He hadn't played in 2 years. He did play.
How do you feel about Goddard props? Do we think he's going to – because he went off finally last week with 170 yards. Are you going to take his over? I don't even know what his number's set at right now.
I'm going with Goddard simply because, number one, he is the number 2 threat. Mm-hmm. I don't know who that number 1 receiver is going to be, but I know he's the number 2 threat.
Goddard might be number 1.
Right, honestly. So when you game plan him. I don't like
Goddard props.
When you game plan him, that's when he's good.
You don't have Devontae and you don't have AJ.
His props aren't up on BetMGM.
He's going to be doubled. It's going to be a lower under. Like
the last play of the game, they doubled him. It's just they ran a route that was great in the man beating concept. They tried to bracket him and bam, he got loose.
You got to do that all game. If you ain't got another outside threat, it's going to be, all right, we just focusing on you.
We got Dotson.
Okay.
We got, who else do we have? It's Dotson. And I say Paris Campbell. And I think they're going to bring Ross up. We don't even have a punt returner that's, a proven punt returner.
What's his face?
Shipley?
No, the rookie second rounder.
Yeah.
Cooper DeJean.
Yes. Yeah.
Cooper DeJean is our
He's going to be returning.
Wow. So I mean, when you look at
y'all don't
roster,
sound confident.
I'm confident in the aspect that we got a guy that's going to run the rock, and we got a 6'5", 6'6" receiver we can throw to, even though he's a rookie in Wilson. He'll probably be number 2. And man, this is tough because
listen, I got the Bucs winning this game, right? And I'm gonna give you this stat per Stat Muse. When Lane Johnson plays, the Eagles are 91, 54, and 1. When he doesn't play, they're 14 and 22. Not a very good ball club, no matter what the talent is. I don't care if AJ and Devontae are in the game. They end up losing games when Lane Johnson ain't out there starting and at his very best.
And he won't play.
And people said, again, Cushion, whether he plays or not, I look at him, and people didn't like when I said this. I don't know if I told y'all or I said this on the radio. I look at him in his Jason Peters stage. Jason Peters was dominant when he was playing. He was just always hurt. Mm-hmm. At the latter years of his career.
Yep. I
think Lane Johnson is getting there. Where it's just, okay, when I'm playing.
There, he is there.
Yeah, he is there.
Yeah.
He's going to be Jason Peters. Like, all right, he may miss a quarter of football. He may miss a half. He's going to miss a few games every season. That's no disrespect to him. He's just older. So to be able to continue to do that in the trenches is going to be hard for Lane Johnson to do. And like I said, all right, Dallas, they're going to have a spy on Jalen Hurts. They're going to put 8 people in the box for Saquon Barkley. They're going to double Dallas Goedert, and they're going to man up the wideouts. How are you going to be able to score? It's going to be tough. I think you'll still be able to do a little bit, but again, those holes for Saquon are going to look a lot different with that injury on line. The biggest concern I have with the Eagles at the beginning of the season is similar because everyone, you talk about injuries, but injuries to the D-line and the O-line. Like in the Eagles Super Bowl years, they had backups there. You go, I don't love him, but he can get the job done. Yeah. Andre Dillard could come in and get the job done.
Well, no, I agree with you. That was my biggest concern going into the season, especially with O-line. Because, like, I agree with you on Lane Johnson. So many people were like, I think we're so used to having a really good offensive line here in Philadelphia that we do take it for granted. And Jeff Stoutland, and it's like, oh, well, no, Jeff Stoutland's got it. And I thought the O-line was a little thin. And everyone's like, well, Lane Johnson, best right tackle in the league. He gets injured every single season, and you feel the loss. I was impressed, and I feel better about the way the Eagles O-line stepped up, losing Mekhi Becton and Lane Johnson in the Saints game. Yep. I mean, Saquon Barkley was still able to score 2 touchdowns in a quarter without those guys. Like, they went out before that happened. So I also think on the other side of the ball, the Bucs aren't totally healthy. Chris Godwin on the injury list, Mike Evans on the both limited in practice, and their injury list is actually longer than the Eagles right now. Maybe with less consequential players, but it's still not looking great on either side. What worries me in this one is that the Bucs are coming off a loss in a game that they probably expected themselves to win as did a lot of people. So they're going to be frustrated. Baker Mayfield's probably going to be frustrated. They're going to want to come out and win in front of their home crowd. I also worry about the blitz. Jalen Hurts does not play well against the blitz. He's improved this season, but the Bucs defense, as we've seen, like they have Jalen Hurts' number when it comes to that. So as long as he can handle that, but yeah, I think it'll be closer than we think.
And our saving grace right now is Kalijah Cansey is on the injured list, and Vita Vea is on the injured list. If those two don't play, it'll be a long day for this Bucs defense. But if they do, it's going to be tough. And I would say, because Luke Kadecki, their starting right tackle, I think he's out right now. He's on the injury list right now. If he doesn't play, I would say it'd be good for us. But hell, I can't put any faith on Huff rushing the passer.
It's just you talk about the Bucs and the Eagles injuries. The Eagles injuries are the big dogs.
Mm-hmm.
The Buck injuries have some big dogs in them, but at the same time, limited in practice on Wednesday means you playing.
Yep.
So it's just like, yeah, Godwin Evans limited in practice on Wednesday. All right.
They're suiting up.
You'll be limited on Thursday. You'll do walk around on Friday. You're going to take a shot before the game on Sunday, and you're going to play at 80% of yourself.
We just call that a bee sting.
Yeah.
That shot.
Yeah. So it's just you just believe in it. Again, that's going to be tough. Y'all on the Eagles. I'm on the Bucs. Kenny, who do you got, and what's the next game? Dang, Kenny just despises him.
We understand. Trust me. So I was so shocked that the Rams came back and beat the Niners. Sean, I'm so sorry, beat your 49ers. Just because, talk about injuries. I know the 49ers are injured, but dang, the Rams have no one. Matthew Stafford, I thought at least, had no one to get the ball to, but Tutu Atwell came through. Kyron Williams, 89 rush yards, 2 touchdowns. I don't know in terms of a side. There are a few props in this one that I like. I do like Kyron Williams getting the ball the most again, rushing a ton. I like him getting an anytime touchdown. The Bears defense, even though, Kenny, I like the Bears offense is a middle school offense. Their offense has been frustrating. Caleb Williams kind of showed signs of what he could be last week here and there. He did have over 300 passing yards for once, but I think a lot of that he had one or a few really deep balls right before halftime. But I look at that Bears defense, and they didn't give up more than 45 yards to any Colts receiver last week. So, not that Matthew Stafford is too many healthy receivers to even get the ball to, but that just makes me want to double down on my Kyron Williams props. I don't have a side in this one though, because I genuinely have no idea.
I'm hands off that game also. I just don't think that I cannot bet with Williams at all. I just don't think I thought he was the third best quarterback in the draft. I didn't think he was first. And it's almost proven to be that way right now, the way things are going. I just thought he played too frenetically. I think he runs around too much instead of sitting in the pocket. And I know he doesn't have a pocket because that offensive line is atrocious. So his maturation as a quarterback will be a lot slower simply because he does not have an offensive line. If you look at Jalen Hurts, his maturation was accelerated because he had an offensive line, a great center to help him out. He doesn't have that, so Caleb is playing out there with one arm tied behind his back. This Rams team is so beat up, and they don't have any of their weapons. So, right now I don't have a horse in that race.
What?
I think the Bears, it's one of those things where I'm like, I like one roster better, but I like one coaching staff better. The Rams coaching staff is showing McVay the ability to get points and do what he needs to do, even without his 2 stars. Right? Like, without Cooper Kupp, you look at the 49ers game and Tutu Atwell, like we said, Kyron Williams, and his Sean McVay's ability to make plays happen, to scheme something happen. And again, I don't trust the Bears' ability to do that because I know they have a bad offensive line and all, but at the same time, coaching staff, if you know you have a bad offensive line, run plays that allows you to get through that. Run plays that quick plays that allows you to get out of Caleb Williams fast, screens, et cetera, et cetera. So
that's not his game, though.
I'm going to go with the Rams because the Rams aren't that hurting defensively. So I think they can get stops, and I think Sean McVay can do enough to win that game. All right, when we come back, we'll talk about a couple more big-time games, and then we'll give you our best bets of the day, all right, of the week, excuse me. Sunday spread. We'll be right back. Got you. Welcome back to the final segment of the Sunday spread, week 4. Devin Caney, Barrett Brooks, Sean Bell, presented by BetMGM on the BetQL network. Let's talk about a couple more big games this week. Kenny, I'll let you jump in here and tell us which games those are.
I don't know. In terms of a side here, like, I don't know. I'm shocked that the Bills are underdogs, even though they are on the road just because, like, they've looked so good. They're undefeated so far, 3-0 for the first time since 2020. And I was expecting the Bills to take a step back this year. I think a lot of people were.
Yeah.
So I've been impressed with them. The Ravens just need to, like, play a complete game and not collapse in the fourth quarter. I think this will be a good game. I think it'll be a close game, but I don't know which team is going to come out with the win.
I'm going with the Bills, and the reason why I like their running game. James Cook has become a complete back for him, running the rock, catching the rock out of the backfield. They have really 2 great tight ends, Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox. I like both of those guys. And Backpack Boy has been balling for him, whether it's blocking on the outside or going and getting, 50-50 balls in the air. Matt Collins, he's been doing well. The rookie.
You just call him Backpack Boy?
That's what they call him, Backpack Boy. Backpack Boy, he wears a backpack.
Yeah,
and he walks around with no shoes on. Like, what the hell is wrong with him? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not like he changed. He was like that when he was here. He used to ride a bike to practice.
I remember that.
So I'm like, yeah, that's Matt Collins, and he is really playing well for them right now. Really playing well. And their offensive line is balling right now. So I'm going with the better offensive line, the better quarterback as far as, handing off the ball. Well, the better offense as far as handing the ball off. I think James Cook is more versatile right now than Derrick Henry. So I'm going with the Bills.
You mentioned their tight ends. I like Dalton Kincaid over 36.5 receiving yards for the Bills because the Ravens' defense is pretty weak up the middle, weak against tight ends. So Dalton Kincaid.
I was with the Bills when we talked about this earlier in the show. I'm going back to Baltimore.
Okay.
I'm staying with the Bills.
Bills haven't played nobody. They beat the Cardinals, which is a mid team. They're better than we think. They're still mid. Won't make the playoffs. They beat the Dolphins, and they own the Dolphins. Tua got hurt in that game.
Yep.
And you always know I think Dolphins are frauds. Jaguars are bad. They destroyed the Jaguars.
Very bad.
So 3 games where you go, huh, okay. Then you look at the Baltimore Ravens, and it's not like they had a world beater schedule, but as much as we say they struggled, they lost to the Chiefs by 1 score, 27-20. They were a toe away from winning, from at least tying that game up. They lost to a Raiders, a competitive team, by 3, and they beat the Cowboys by 3. They're not that far off from being who we thought they were, right? They've played in a lot of really close games, a couple of those games against really good teams in a tough atmospheres. So I think if the Baltimore Ravens have sort of found something in their last game, Derrick Henry really got going in the last game, and they're facing a Buffalo Bill team that just hasn't been tested yet. They haven't played nobody real. They haven't, right? So we're putting the Bills in a conversation of they look like maybe the best team in the league. Hold on. All right, you beat the Jaguars right now. Right? Like you won half a game without Tua right now. Like, what do you beat the Arizona Cardinals by, and barely beat the Arizona Cardinals, by the way. You ain't that good, are you? Are you? I honestly don't know. I think they're a good team, but how good, I don't know. But because of that, because of me looking at the schedules, I think the Baltimore Ravens bounce back and win this game.
All right.
No.
Okay.
Good response. Good rebuttal. Really got him there.
Yeah, there's middle school rebuttal. All right, Kenny, what else you got?
Like what you just asked, Kenny. Like I don't know if they are a legitimately good team or, like Sean just said, frauds. So you think they're frauds?
Yes. 100%.
Why?
I think they're.
Well, what? And same with the Lions, I should say. I can't make my mind up on the Lions. I don't know if they're really good or not.
I think Seattle's similar. I put them in the Tampa Bay box. This is a solid competitive team.
Mm-hmm.
They're not real, though.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, they're a team that's going to give you good teams a little go for their money. They'll be 9-8, borderline playoff teams, but they ain't real. Like, again, last week they beat the Dolphins without Tua.
Who looked awful.
The week before that, they beat the Patriots by 3.
Mm-hmm.
The week before that, they beat the Broncos by 6. So I'm bringing up schedules again when I look at this. You ain't play nobody. Like, you should have beat those teams. You're a mid-level team, so you should beat teams that are bad, teams that aren't very good. So, and again, I think Seattle every year I look at as mid-level because you have a mid-level roster. Geno Smith, great story. I'm glad you're playing good football. You ain't a top 12 quarterback in this league, right? I mean, he's not coming up in those. And DK Metcalf, obviously, great, really good wide receiver, but still probably not a top 10. He's borderline top 10. Like, they don't have that type of roster. So they're always going to be the king of mids. Right? Like, everyone said they're going to overtake the 49ers. I trust the Rams more than I trust the Seahawks, right? Like, they're just mid. That's all I can explain about them. They're just mid. A team of mid. Barrett?
I'm gonna go to the same direction you went last team we just talked about, and I'm gonna go better coaching staff. I just like how the Lions carry themselves. I like their coaching style. I like their belief in their system, and they go by that system. I don't know what system Seattle has right now. I don't know if they have a great defense. I don't know if they have a great offense. I don't see necessarily what makes them a team that they've won the game that they won. So I don't know their identity. I know the Lions' identity. I know what they can do. So I'm going with the Lions because I'm more comfortable with who they are as a team and how they conduct their business. I am kind of grossly aware of the injuries that they have. The Lions have right now. Anytime you have your starting center, Frank Ragnow, not healthy. Sam Laporta, not healthy. Their best linebacker, Anzalon, he's not healthy either. It's pointing me in the direction, I got to check those guys out. But I like the way the coaching staff, I like the way he place guys in there and they can play.
Yeah.
Even though I don't like their defensive coordinator, but I still like you see I like their as a whole their offense.
Always taking a shot at Aaron, old Aaron Glenn. All right, best bets. Let's get to it. Best bets. Dev, I'll start with you. What do you like this week?
So we gave our anytime touchdowns. I'll throw one anytime touchdown in, and that from what I said earlier, and that is Mike Gesicki. I like his anytime touchdowns. I like also his taking over on his receiving yards. I don't have the prop is not up on BetMGM right now, so I can't give you a number. But if it's reasonable, take that. Kyron Williams over 75.5 rush yards. Dalton Kincaid over 36.5 receiving yards. Can even sprinkle in an anytime touchdown there. Those are my 3 best props.
Okay.
I know this is going to bite me in the butt, but I'm going Jets win, points -7.5. I'm going with Vikings and the points plus 2.5. I'm going Vikings, and then I'm gonna have a four leg parlay with anytime touchdown, CeeDee Lamb, Malik Neighbors, Jamar Chase, and Mike Evans anytime touchdown.
I like Mike Evans a lot. Yeah. Again, I've had the conversation about how I think Mike Evans is a top 10 wideout of all time. That's
of all time.
Yeah. I think he's close.
I mean, that's the 10,000. He's had 10,000 receiving yards because he played 10 years, 1,000 yards each year. Are you kidding me?
Model of consistency, or at least he's had a top 10 career wide receiver.
We get it.
Wide.
Yeah.
It's like move on. Saquon Barkley, anytime. I'll go with my anytime TDs first. Saquon Barkley is definitely going to be anytime touchdown. Jordan Mason is going to be another anytime touchdown. I think he's always going to get in this game. I also go Jordan Mason over 85.5 yards. I think he's going to, again, the 49ers had to ride high. Same thing with Saquon Barkley. I'm going to take him to go over over 75. I'll go to alternative on that. Again, I know he's slated to go higher, but again, that's all the Philadelphia Eagles have. So he may get 24 carries. So even if it's less than 4 yards a pop, I think he's going to get those amount of carries. I also said earlier, I like Justin Fields to get an anytime touchdown to sort of scramble and get it done. We talked about our upsets earlier. Let's sort of reiterate everybody sort of our upset picks. And it's sort of funny because are any of these real upsets? We give upset picks, but are any of these real upsets? I'll reiterate mine before y'all guys reiterate yours. Again, I said Bill. Originally, I said Bills or Ravens. I don't think so. I think the Ravens are going to win that game. I like the Commanders to get an upset in that game. I think they're going to be very good. I think the Vikings, I'm confused about them being underdogs anyway. I think they're a better team, and I think Malik Willis will play in this game. So those are two of my biggest upsets. Before I get into some of my yardage stuff, reiterate what you guys' upsets are.
So I'm going to pull a Sean Bell here, and I actually kind of want to walk back my underdog.
Oh, don't say I'm a walk backer. It's a Sean Bell now?
Mr. I was just saying I didn't like the Eagles to piss you guys off. So I don't know if I totally buy the Colts upsetting the Steelers. I do like the Vikings beating the Packers. I still can't believe that they are underdogs. I like the Saints upsetting the Falcons. And I like the Chargers upsetting the Chiefs. I don't know if I'd take Chargers money line, but at least Chargers in the points, covering that spread.
Okay. What you think?
Like I said, I'm going Vikings over Packers, plus 2.5, upset. Bills, 2.5, plus 2.5 over Ravens, upset. But then, like my locks are Jets over Broncos, 7.5, and then Steelers over Colts, 1.5.
Okay, I like it. And real quick, I'm gonna give y'all. I like Rashee Rice to go over 100. If we're talking about alternatives, Rashee Rice to go over 100. Jordan Mason, once again, I'm back on him going over 100 rushing yards. Those are two individuals I like to go over 100. And I'm going to go Jamar Chase again to go over 100 against the Carolina Panthers. I think if the Panthers still play well, it'll be a shootout.
Yep.
But either way, the Bengals are going to get points, and they are going to score a lot of points, in my opinion. All right, Sunday spread. Hopefully we don't come back complaining again next week with all these damn upsets. Your survival pool? Did you jump back in? Is it done?
I'm done.
Because it was week 3.
3 and out. So, yeah, I'm done. I should probably retire anyway.
Well, you heard it here first. Enjoy your week. Enjoy all your bets and make sure you win a little bit of money. All right? This is a Sunday spread. Devin Caney, Barry Brooks, Sean Bell.